You spent an hour setting up Claude Projects, uploaded your files, wrote your instructions, and then opened a new chat inside the same project, and Claude had no idea what you were talking about. Claude Projects is one of the most useful features in Claude.ai, and also one of the most misunderstood. It's a persistent workspace inside Claude.ai, not a coding agent, not an automation bot, and it does not have infinite memory. 6 questions, 6 honest answers. Let's go. Question 1. Is Claude Projects the same thing as Claude Code? A lot of people see both names, assume they're the same feature, and then wonder why projects can't read their repo or run commands, which sends you down the wrong path fast. Projects lives in your browser. Claude Code lives in your terminal, and they're built for completely different jobs. I went through the docs and community consensus on this, and the split is unanimous. Claude Projects is a persistent workspace. It saves your custom instructions, your knowledge files, and your chat history inside a project. Claude Code is an autonomous coding agent that reads your actual codebase and executes commands in the terminal, and conflating them means you'll expect projects to do things it was never designed to do. So the answer to question 1 is pretty clear. Yes, they're completely different tools, and mixing them up is honestly the #1 source of frustration I see with projects. 1 of 6 questions answered, and this one alone saves you a lot of wasted setup time. I've run into every one of these projects' mistakes firsthand, so I researched them obsessively so you don't have to repeat them. If the projects versus code confusion has already cost you time, let me know in the comments. Question 2. Should you upload everything or just key documents? The objection I hear all the time is more context is always better, right? So people drag their entire shared drive into a project, 40, 50 files, and then Claude starts giving vague, slow, inconsistent answers because it's wading through noise instead of working from clean signal. More files is not always more helpful. The documented best practice is selective upload. Put in the documents that define truth for your work, things like your brand voice guide, product spec, API overview, or decision log. The hard limits are 30 megabytes per file and 20 files per conversation, and PDFs under 100 pages get full visual processing. One of the biggest problems I run into when using AI agents is turning their output into YouTube content I can actually use to market my product. That's why this video is sponsored by Subscriber, a tool that helps business owners connect their AI agents to YouTube and market their products without spending 10 hours every week creating content. You can connect Claude or ChatGPT directly to Subscriber. It then analyzes your business, website, and YouTube channel to help you create SEO-optimized video ideas, scripts, thumbnails, and even complete videos that actually match your brand. What I like most is that every week, Subscriber gives me a list of high-potential video ideas I can immediately execute, and it can even help edit videos for me, with or without my face, including videos like the one you're watching right now. It's easy to get started, and you can try Subscriber for free using the link in the description below. Now back to the video. 5 well-chosen sources consistently outperform a shared drive dump, and I've seen that pattern hold up across pretty much every use case I've tested. Question 2 answered. Upload key reference docs only, not your whole drive, and the file limit numbers are on screen right now so you can screenshot them. That's 2 of 6 questions answered. Question 3, how does persistence actually work? This is the one that trips people up the most. Someone sets up a project, has a great conversation on Monday where Claude learns all the preferences, then opens a new chat inside the same project on Wednesday and expects Claude to remember Monday's decisions. It doesn't. New chat, fresh start, every single time. So what actually persists? 3 things: your custom instructions, your uploaded knowledge files, and the chat history within that project. And those load into every new conversation automatically. What doesn't persist is anything you decided, built, or discussed in a previous chat inside the project. Each new chat starts fresh, so the workaround is to write a summary at the end of an important conversation and paste it into the next one. So persistence is real, but it's project scoped, not a global memory of everything you've ever said to Claude, and that distinction changes how you structure your projects going forward. 3 of 6 questions answered. Question 4. Can Claude Projects actually automate tasks, or does it only help you do work? People read about projects and assume it runs workflows the way Zapier or Make does, scheduled, autonomous, cross-app, and then they try to set up a project to automatically process incoming emails or update a spreadsheet on a schedule, and nothing happens because projects just doesn't work that way. I had to run this one twice to make sure I was reading it right. Claude Projects is an assisted work environment. You drive, Claude helps, and it speeds up repeat cognitive work because your standing context is already loaded, so you skip the re-prompting and re-uploading. But it won't run scheduled tasks, it won't push data to other apps, and it won't act without you in the loop. So for cross-app automation, you still need Zapier or Make. Automation myth, busted. Projects assists, it doesn't automate, and if you were hoping to replace Zapier with Projects, now you know why that doesn't work. 4 of 6 questions answered. Alright, so 4 questions down, and you now know what Projects is, how to load it, and what it can't automate. The 2 questions still ahead are where most people actually misuse it day to day. Where does your knowledge go versus your procedures? And does loading all that context actually slow Claude down? Both of those answers could change how you set up every project from here. Question 5. Should you use projects for standing knowledge or repeatable procedures? Most people never even ask this question. They just dump everything into the knowledge files and wonder why their project feels bloated and scattered. And the cleaner answer is that knowledge and procedures are 2 separate ingredients, and projects has a specific place for each one. The split is clean. Standing knowledge goes into the knowledge files. Things like your brand voice doc, product spec, or API overview. Repeatable procedures go into the custom instructions, like a step-by-step content workflow or a review checklist, and both load it to every chat inside the project automatically. Mixing them up gives you a bloated knowledge file or scattered instructions that Claude has to wade through every time. So a practical trigger. If you'll chat on the same topic more than 3 to 5 times, set up a project. Question 5 answered, knowledge goes in files, procedures go in instructions. And that split keeps your project clean and easy to govern. 5 of 6 questions answered, and this one alone will make your existing projects run noticeably better. Question 6, the last one. Will loading a big project slow Claude's responses down? You've seen this worry in forums. Someone uploads 15 documents and then complains that every reply takes forever. So is projects itself the problem, or is it something else? The answer is conditional, and knowing the actual context window numbers changes how you set things up. I didn't expect the context window numbers to be this big, but here they are. 200,000 tokens on Sonnet, 1 million tokens on Opus. So projects itself is not the bottleneck. What slows things down is bloat, too many loosely relevant files, or a conversation thread that's grown really long and the fix is tight knowledge files, splitting unrelated work into separate projects and starting a new chat when a thread gets unwieldy. Question 6 answered, projects can slow down, but only when you overfill it, and with a 200,000 token window on Sonnet, you've got a lot of room before you actually hit a real limit. 6 of 6 questions answered, so here's what Claude Projects actually unlocks. You set it up once, and every chat inside that project inherits your instructions and your knowledge base, so you stop re-explaining your context from scratch. Keep standing knowledge in files and procedures in instructions, and if you'll chat on a topic more than 3 to 5 times, a project saves you from re-uploading and re-prompting every single time. Now here's where people get it wrong, and these are the 4 big ones. First, thinking projects is Claude code, which it's not. It doesn't read your repo or run commands. Second, assuming it auto-indexes your codebase like SourceGraph or Cursor. Third, expecting it to automate tasks across apps the way Zapier does, because it assists and doesn't run workflows. Fourth, dumping your entire drive into a project and wondering why responses get slow and vague. If you want to stop re-explaining your context every single chat, Claude Projects is your pick. If you're a developer who needs an autonomous agent working through your actual codebase in the terminal, that's Claude Code, a completely different tool for a completely different job. One thing almost nobody mentions, project instructions and global custom instructions are completely isolated from each other, so your global instructions don't bleed into a project, and your project instructions don't affect your normal chats. If you've been wondering why your global tone settings aren't applying inside a project, that's why, and you have to set instructions separately for every project you create. Now that you know what Claude Projects actually is, the next thing worth understanding is what Claude can generate inside it, and Claude Artifacts is the feature that lets Claude produce interactive outputs you can actually use, with a lot more to it than most people realize. The video is called Claude Artifacts, Everything You Need to Know, and it's right there waiting for you.